Hey guys, just reading in 1 Kings this morning, and one of the things that kind of stands out, in going through chapter 1 and chapter 2, this is a case where Solomon is taking over for David, and David had made certain promises and agreements that certain people um, would not be harmed under his rule, but these were people who had done wrong. Joab was one of David's captains, and one of the things that he was guilty of was killing two innocent men. The Bible says that he had killed two righteous men, more righteous than him, and basically under David, David had not rendered any justice to him and had let him kind of get away with this. But as Solomon took over, that was no longer the case. So Solomon kind of goes after guys like Shimei and Joab and just all of these guys who had been problems under David's rule, and basically just kind of rids him as he takes over in David's place. But the thing that really kind of stood out to me is the fact that, all of chapter 2 is basically David, sleeping with his fathers, talking about, he basically dies, and Solomon kind of making right the things that had been wrong under David. And basically the way that I look at this is that God will render justice in His time. And as we look at this, we see a lot of people who had done a lot of wrong under David's rule, and had seemingly got away with it, despite the fact that David had passed on. God had not forgotten their transgression, and as a result, they got what was due. And sometimes I think we have a tendency to think that the unrighteous deeds that are done to us by other people are going to go unchecked, and they may go unchecked in our lifetime, but that God's arm is not short, that He can't reach these individuals, and that He will not make right what needs to be made right. By the same token, we also have a tendency to look at things like some of our unrighteous deeds are going to just go unnoticed or unforgotten or unremembered. But that's certainly not the case either, and that we need to understand that one of the things that, as faithful, as merciful, as just as God is, it is precisely because He is faithful and He is just, that He will absolutely punish sin. And that's something that stands out, in this passage, as well as when we look at David and we see that David did suffer the consequences of his decisions. We saw that his lack of ability to discipline his son caused his son to rise a rebellion up against him, and the fact that he was unfaithful to his wife and had taken all of these wives, and unfaithful to one of his best friends, one of his right-hand men, Uriah. We see that he suffered the death of his child, and he suffered turmoil in his kingdom and stuff like that. We need to keep in mind that God will punish unrighteousness. He will reward the righteous. It will not go unnoticed. It will all happen in His time and according to His will. So, something that I just wanted to point out to you guys this morning is in 1 Kings chapter 1 and 2. All right, God bless.